everybody, Erica Serwin here from Pink Bucker Designs, and I have got an adorable card to show you today. It uses one of the little girls from the Hey Girlfriend stamp set. This is retiring from the January to June 2021 Stampin' Up! Catalog, and I just loved it so much I had to make sure to make a few videos to show you guys how I used it. I'm combining it also with a Stitchery stamp set. This is in the new annual catalog from Stampin' Up! And we're going to do some faux stitching on our card. Now I have to tell you, the color combination on this card was inspired by some really cute cookies I saw on Pinterest. I loved the colors that they chose, so I decided to use Flirty Flamingo, Pale Papaya, and Misty Moonlight. All right, let's get started. Let's make our card base first. I'm going to stamp those faux stitching lines. These are the 3 that I'm using. And I'm going to stamp them in Flirty Flamingo twice on Flirty Flamingo cardstock. Then we're going to do it on Misty Moonlight and then on Pale Papaya. So I'm just going to do one at a time. So let's start with, we'll just start with this one. And we're going to use our Flirty Flamingo ink. And just going to stamp kind of the middle of the image. And we're going to stamp right in the middle. Now, if you're worried about getting this straight, you could always stamp it on a bigger sheet of cardstock and then cut it out afterwards. The strips are 1/2 inch by 4 inches. All right, now we're going to peel that off. And we'll do this one. I used to pull out my sewing machine, but I haven't done that in a long time. And then I saw this stamp set and I thought, well, that's pretty amazing. No need for the sewing machine. Okay, and right there. Now we'll pull that one off. Let's see if I can do it without getting ink on my fingers. And then last, we'll do Pale Papaya. All kinds of different stitches here. I definitely don't know the names of them, but I recognize that they're different. All right. So I have just a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to arrange these first so that I can kind of get an idea of where they need to be. I didn't measure. I just kind of eyeballed it. And when you place them on here like this, you can move them around and get them sorted out before you put them down. Okay, and then this one. So it looks like we need to go a little bit lower. You could also use your grid paper. That would help you line them up if you needed a little extra help. All right, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to use liquid glue. That'll give me a little bit of leeway, a little bit of room in case I need to move them. Whoa, got a little bit crazy with the glue. All right, let's put that one right there. And then we'll move to this one. Let's try to use less glue this time. Like that. And as I move down the card, I want to make sure that they're equally spaced. I'm kind of leaving 1/2 inch in between each strip. Like that. Whoops, there we go. Almost down to the end. And then we're going to stamp our adorable little girl. And one more. And there we have it. All right, now I'm going to put that to the side and let it dry. And we're going to stamp that little girl with the glasses. There are 3 little girls in this set that you can choose from. I just decided to go with this one. Now we're also going to stamp her skirt on a piece of designer series paper. And we're going to pop it up to make it a little more 3-dimensional. All right, I have just a little piece of the Sweet Symmetry Designer Series paper. It has a Flirty Flamingo piece in there, and I'm going to stamp that right there. because we're just going to cut out the skirt. We don't need all of it. Now let's see, I'm going to color, really I'm going to leave her shirt white, and we're going to color her shoes and her bow in Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to use dark down here, and then I'm going to go back to my light Flirty Flamingo. Color that in, that bow. I'm using the bullet tip end of my marker. And then add in those shadow lines, a little bit of dark on the inside and in the middle. And then here, these little ribbons would be darker because they're behind, so I'm going to do those in dark. All right, for her hair, I'm going to start with Crumb Cake Light. And I'm going to give it a full coat of crumb cake. There we go. Now come over with my crumb cake dark and just add in some shadow here around that part and behind the bow. And then we can just color all that in. I'm going to leave the front part really light. That way we see some kind of shadows and variation in color. For her skin, I'm going to use Petal Pink. We have lots of options for skin. We actually have an ivory and a bronze, but you can also combine our other colors to make all different kinds of skin tones. All right, I'm doing light for the most part, and then I'm going to get the dark. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow under her hair and under her glasses, like that. You know what, let's add a little bit under her chin as well. And then we can blend that down with our light. Now, her little mouth is so tiny. I'm going to take my dark Flirty Flamingo and just tap it. All right. Now, I wanted to add just kind of a shadow line around her. This is optional, of course. You can leave this off if you want, but I'm going to take my light Pool Party marker and I'm just going to kind of outline her really lightly. This will pop her off a little bit off of the paper. Give her a little more dimension. We're not cutting her out. We're not popping her off the paper with a dimensional. Her skirt will be popped off, but not the rest of her. So by adding this little shadow line around, it'll be very light and it won't be super noticeable, but it just kind of gives a little dimension to her whole body. All right, now a little bit down here, and I'm just kind of tapping that marker because I don't want it to be too dark. Okay, now let's grab our paper snips, and I'm going to go around and cut out this skirt. When you are fussy cutting, I recommend using our paper snips. They are small and very sharp. They're only $10. I would encourage you to add them to your next order because they're really good. You think, oh, I don't need scissors, but if you're going to do any kind of fussy cutting, you definitely, these will make it so much easier. All right. Now I'm going to put just one dimensional right there and add that skirt. Isn't that just so cute? All right, I felt like she needed a little bow, so I've got some of the white twine, and I'm going to pull it really, 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 really small. And then get a glue dot, and we'll put that on with a glue dot. Okay, right there. Let's see if we can get that one to straighten out. Well, that's good. Well, I will straighten it out later. I don't want to keep you guys watching me trying to mess with that twine. fine. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of scallop behind her. This is a contoured scallop, rectangle, stitched contour scallop. I'm going to cut off 2 of the scallops, and I've just cut off one of the sides. And we're going to adhere it to the back side like that, okay? Now let's bring this piece back over, and we're going to put her on with dimensionals. Right there. Now, I'm also going to use some dimensionals here on our Misty Moonlight card base. Like that. Okay, now for the sentiment, we are going to stamp in white craft ink and heat emboss it with white embossing powder. So grab your embossing powder, sprinkle that on. Make sure you don't have any stray pieces, and grab your heat tool and hit it with your gun until you see it turn shiny. All right, now that we have it all embossed, I'm going to cut it out with a heart die. I'm using my mini cut and emboss machine and the mini hearts dies. I'm going to put that right here like that. My puppy is at my feet begging to play. I'm so sorry. She is something else. She thinks I'm talking to her, I think. Okay. Let's grab that, and we're almost done. And then I can play with you, Pepper. Dimensional. Just right here on this side so that it is the same height as that one. And there you have it. Isn't she adorable? Now, this stamp set is on the retiring list and could sell out at any moment. So make sure you hop over to my store and check it out. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.